Take a look at this YouTube video. I've got one question for you. Does this look like a video that would generate tens of millions of dollars? I mean, probably not. From the get-go, it breaks every single thumbnail law of YouTube. There's no contrast, there's no text, there's no icons, but yet it still makes you want to click. And if not you, it made over 500,000 people do so. So how is this possible? Well, to understand this, we first have to take a look at the man inside of that thumbnail. Charlie Morgan. He runs a company named Imperium Acquisition that generates over 8 figures every single year. The crazy part is, he gets the majority of his traffic from low-effort YouTube videos recorded on his iPhone. Something that also breaks many rules. But it wasn't always like that for Charlie. At a point, he used to create highlighted videos using expensive cameras, polished thumbnails, and word-for-word scripts. And it made sense because that's what the high performers were doing back then. Creating content engineered to keep you watching by firing your dopamine receptors. But there was a very big problem here. See, Charlie hated this. It was too much of a hassle, it felt as if it was just a robot spitting out words, and honestly, it didn't even perform that well. So out of complete desperation, he decided to conduct a wild experiment. He pulled out his iPhone.
Alright, it's a cloudy day.
Grabbed the marker.
I'm gonna keep this one brief.
And just recorded himself talking in front of a whiteboard for an hour straight. Zero editing, zero music, just raw, unedited, unfiltered value. And once he posted that video, well, the rest is history. This resulted in hundreds of thousands of new subscribers, but more importantly, tens of millions of dollars in revenue for his business. So since I'm on a mission to help 100 founders generate $1 billion with their personal brands, and since I've watched hours of his content, I thought that breaking this down could provide you with some very valuable insights. So why is he putting less effort into the content and making it perform better? How does he sell by not giving a fuck? And how did he save his brand with a small channel? So how is it possible for Charlie to get hundreds of thousands of views that actually convert with content recorded on an iPhone with no script, no editing, no music, no nothing, while people with the fanciest camera setups, the flashiest editing, and the word-for-word scripts engineered to keep you watching get nowhere near that? Well, once you figure out what's going on here, you will understand it has very little to do with the formats themselves, but rather the psychology behind them. So when you watch his content, it creates a weird feeling.
It's being able to hold, you know, however many billions of neurons you have in your brain and dedicate every single one of them to one thing.
It feels as if Charlie is there with you drawing on that whiteboard. And this is no coincidence, since polished content with, word-for-word scripts, fancy editing, flashy camera setups looks good in terms of quality, but lacks this connection, creates a barrier between you, the viewer, and the person behind the camera, and you can't really connect with them. Whereas raw content breaks that and allows you to connect with the person and feel as if you're having a real conversation with them. Additionally, Charlie knows that the person watching the video is consuming the content in an individual experience, and therefore he's speaking to the camera same way he'd speak to you in a real-life conversation, which again creates transparency. And all of that goes on to create so much connection that Charlie feels like a close friend to you. Like, the way I like to imagine his content is simple. It's as if you told him, "Oh, Charlie, how do I get rich quick?" and he sends you this video.
So, how do you make quick money? Right, it's very simple.
And Charlie genuinely enjoys this because he doesn't have to put on a mask every time he's recording. He's real to his audience.
I almost just fell down the stairs. That's what I get for trying to start a video on the stairs.
While production only takes a couple of hours maximum, which creates a sustainable content ecosystem. And the crazy part is, the more he enjoys it, the stronger the connection gets. And this acts as a flywheel. The stronger the connection gets, the more he enjoys this, and so on. It just compounds. But now let's move over to the question we started this video with. How do these thumbnails pull in millions of views? See, the premise of the packaging, and more specifically the thumbnail, is to visually explain the premise of the video as quick as possible. And what many fail to notice is that these thumbnails perfectly do that. On the thumbnail I used in the intro, we can see that there's actually a villa behind him, indicating that, oh, he's rich. So they visually explain the premise very quickly while standing out because of how simple they are. But then what happens is that Charlie goes on to create multi-hour long videos. And the reason this is so important is because after doing a study, Google found out that for someone to buy from you, they need to have consumed at least 7 hours of your content. Now, for someone watching Charlie Morgan to do that, it's pretty easy. They only need to watch like 1 to 10 videos maximum, let's say. But for someone to hit that mark through Reels, you will have to create 400 to 500 6-second Reels. And good luck with that. And because the production time for these videos is so low and the length of them is so high, it allows him to grow a nurtured audience very easily and very quickly. Now think about the kind of person who would watch a 2-hour long, a 3-hour long, a 22-hour long video, completely unedited, unfiltered, no music, no dopamine. Think about how much more likely that person is to succeed, if they buy your product, compared to a person who came after watching short form content. So it filters out everyone who is not going to succeed, and Charlie actually says this in his intros.
If you can't watch this 10-minute video on how to get rich in full, you might as well give up now. If your attention span is that fried and that weak, then all hope is lost for you. So make the video full screen, stop reading the comments and looking at that sniper wolf video in the recommended section, and let me explain how to get rich.
Which only leaves the high quality audience behind to actually get value and appreciate it. But Charlie can't just steal these people's time, so he needs to somehow make up for all those hours. He needs to make his content valuable. So you click on one of his videos, you click aiming to achieve a transformation, to go from broke to rich, to go from lazy to productive, or to go from a fucked up life to getting your shit together. And you spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours watching one of his videos. When you click off that video, when you finish that video, you know exactly what you're gonna do to achieve the transformation that the video promised. And this is not just because Charlie's smart or Charlie knows what he's doing, but it's because Charlie knows that value is just everything, as he says in this clip right here.
If you're going to put low effort into your videos, you need to actually make good videos. What I've learned on YouTube is a good video is a good video. It doesn't matter that the quality, the quality production is sort of irrelevant. The title and the thumbnail are important, but they're not like completely relevant, at least to the space that I'm in. And the scripting and all that stuff is just doesn't make any sense, right? In this YouTube game, we can apply the Pareto principle, where we've got 80-20. 80% of the success of your content is going to come from the video itself. How good actually is the thing? How closely in alignment with the truth is it? And how much does it resonate with the actual market? I.e., how much value does it provide?
So knowing that value is created when pain is alleviated, and pain is alleviated when problem is solved, which is a transformation, we can reverse engineer this and turn this into a content value equation, which is what I just did here. So the question is potential outcome times actionability divided by the number of times they've seen this. So how much of a quantifiable result can someone get by applying the knowledge? How fast can they apply it? And how many times have they, heard of this? You want to have a high quantifiable potential result, a very high actionability, so that, they can apply this instantly, and ideally a zero number of times that they've already heard of this. Or if you want to keep this simple, just remember that the bottom line for your content should be, does the viewer know what to do after watching? Do they have a specific action plan or a roadmap to achieve the transformation that you promised? And is the transformation that the video promises solving a real problem that they have? Because that's what matters in the long term. And that's the only thing you should never tolerate if you want to build something long term, if you want to build something genuine. The easiest way of applying this into your content is before creating any content, you just figure out a problem that your ICP has. Then you figure out the transformation that they need to, to go through in order to solve the problem. And then you create a list of things they need to do, things they need to have to get done in order to achieve the transformation. And then, based on that list, you structure any piece of content you create while prioritizing clarity and actionability. Now this is great, but it basically only covers the things that would go on to make you the person able to act on strategic business advice. Although at a very high level, that strategic business advice did not really exist on Charlie's channel, at least not at that deep level as the mindset advice. So Charlie created a business channel in order to attract and funnel people who were looking for that strategic advice, further nurturing them.
Cool. We're not sending them a PDF, we're not sending them to a funnel. All we're doing is sending them something that they can watch in 1 or 2 minutes on the exact same app that they opened up and responded to you on, if that makes sense.
And that's where most of you watching this should start. You should create a niche audience that will go on to convert much better, that trying to create broad market appeal. And I promise, the subscriber to buyer ratio on the business channel of Charlie is much higher than the subscriber to buyer ratio on the main channel, if you get what I'm saying. And Charlie does all of that while positioning himself as the guide. And for you to better understand what that means, just take a look at these 2 videos.
It's almost 4:15 right now. I've been working on my business all night. You know what the funny thing is? In a few months, everyone's gonna call me like 17 years old and I've just bought my first Rolex. The hard work is paying off, man. I can't believe it.
In this life, I gotta get rich, I can't be broke. I was asking favors.
Hey everyone, it's Charlie Morgan here, and in today's video I'm going to teach you how to actually focus. How to sit down and work for 10 to 12 to 14 hours on end every single day.
In the first video, Moritz is the main character, is the hero, and you're just a spectator, which kind of makes sense for what he's trying to do. But in the second video, you are the hero and Charlie is the guide. Every single word that comes out of his mouth contributes to the viewer achieving the transformation. No word is wasted, and unlike many other people, Charlie does not let his ego start creating edits, with trending music, flexing about his success, because Charlie understands that creating edits about his success and flexing will position him as a main character, as a hero of his brand, which, sounds okay, but you need to also factor in the people that this attracts. And these people are spectators. And the core problem with those people is that they have a need for progress. They want to progress. They want, the lifestyle, but they channel that need. Instead of taking action, they channel that need. They fulfill that need by watching others progress. And they call it inspiration. They think that they're getting somewhere, but they're not getting anywhere. And these people will not convert, or even if they convert, will not go on to get results because they're gonna be lazy, whatever. They're not actually gonna do the work. And although this content does go viral, it's because the majority of people fall under this category and it's just pointless. You get nowhere. But for someone who's already their own hero, Charlie completes the puzzle by becoming the guide, which results in a much higher quality audience and a much higher conversion rate. But there's still one piece left of this puzzle that makes 8-figure system work. And at first glance, it makes zero sense. It seems very counterintuitive, but once you understand its power, everything just clicks. So how does it sell without giving a fuck? You can almost feel that Charlie doesn't really care about you buying. In fact, he actually says it on the videos.
By the way, if you need help getting more clients, you can click the links in the description. I don't really care if you do or not, but it might help.
There's no lead magnet, there's no persuasive CTA, there's no email list, there's no free webinar. There's just one link leading to a landing page, and that's it. So what's going on here? Well, at first it seems very counterintuitive. How can he sell without selling? How does saying, I don't care about you buying, get people to buy? This makes no sense if you look at this component individually. But if you look at them as a whole, as a combination, working in conjunction with each other, that's when it clicks. First of all, we know that Charlie is leading with value and has also achieved the dream outcome, creating huge authority for him, which will play a significant role to making this work. Now, not caring does three things. The first thing it does is that it frames the situation as, I don't need you, you need me, which creates transparency and authenticity because Charlie really doesn't care about one person buying. Because remember, he's speaking to one person. The next thing it does is that it puts the viewer in control. It's like, oh, I'm gonna, pressurize you or manipulate you into buying. It's your decision, which takes pressure and makes a person actually use their brain to consider whether they want to proceed. And the final thing it does is that it frames Charlie as an anti-guru, because the average guru is gonna go, oh, this is a limited opportunity, there's never gonna be such an opportunity again. No, Charlie's like, oh, I don't care if you buy, your decision. Buy. And because they've been bombarded with so much value throughout the content, that control that Charlie gave them tells them to go and buy. Unlike most gurus, Charlie found a way to craft and scale a sustainable, authentic, impactful, and converting organic acquisition system for its business. And if there's one thing that you absolutely have to take away from this video, please let it be this one. Make sure that when someone finishes watching, they have a new, clear roadmap towards achieving a transformation that solves a real problem. And keep that your #1 priority. By the way, we help established founders craft and scale a sustainable, authentic, impactful, and converting, streamlined organic acquisition system for their business so they can scale authentically without burning out and without having to worry about their personal brands every single day. So if this resonates, just click the first link in the description to roll with me. And yeah, that was my pitch. Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.